to another episode of In Those We Trust podcast. My name is Malik Howard. I always say this. We have another special guest. We have Khadijah Green in the building. One of my close friends from Salisbury got me through those difficult and rough times there. And she came into the pod. But before we get started, I wanted to take the time and say, go out and go buy that In Those We Trust merch, those pins, those stickers. Y'all see the website is up in the bio. It's below as well in the description. And go support. And I thank all those that have supported already. Can you still hear?
Yes.
Okay.
I need to buy mine.
Nah, it was just my headphones cut out. But yeah, so I'm trying to think of where we want to begin because we've always had these conversations like on our own time. And it was really towards the end of the semester.
Yeah, when we had to prepare for finals
Life.
and self-destruct.
Yeah, for life. But we would sit there, we would have all these conversations. Really, our topics were definitely unpopular opinions. Like
100%.
We would sit there and just be like, unpopular opinion, I don't vibe with this. But I don't know if I want to attack what we were talking about because I don't want it to attach to someone.
I feel like if we leave out names.
Okay. All right. So we could just talk about the topic.
Okay.
Okay. So the topic, I guess, would be workplace and your, I guess, morals and the way
spiritual beliefs.
And how you believe and how does that align and where does that touch in the subject of in-work balance, right? Within the social media component as well. Because that's the component that can set it off. There's no issue with, it being your own lifestyle, religious, sexuality, anything like that outside of it. But once it kind of, I think, becomes public, on social media, that's where it takes its dip.
I agree. I think social media gives everyone, a platform to say their opinions that may not necessarily need to be put
Yeah, you're right.
on said platform.
Yeah, I think, all right, so my take, I would say, on it is... I think you represent anywhere you work. I don't give a fuck if you work for McDonald's. You still represent someone. So if you and we're definitely seeing, I guess, now more in the cancel culture. So you have to be very careful of what you say on.
Stop.
I completely agree with you.
Everything is getting canceled.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not gonna lie. I agree with you too because I think a lot of what we do post is gonna get seen, and it's just like this. No one is allowed to have an opinion anymore. And so many times, just taken out of context that it just doesn't provide the right outlet for everyone. And no one takes in, what they say. So I think workplace, you should be able to do what you want and live how you feel. But now is when the work knows exactly how you feel and it begins to be public. And that's where I have, the pushback.
Yeah, I think social media has become more strategic. You have to keep in mind your intention on any social media platform. If you're on Facebook for your family and stuff and you want to connect with them, you shouldn't be posting these bizarre things that attack members of your family.
Yeah.
You have to be super intentional. If you're on Instagram for whatever, stick with that. If you're on Facebook for whatever, stick with that. Don't just use it as this platform to speak your beliefs, especially when you're in a specific work environment. Yeah. Where you have people on your social media that directly attack them.
Yeah. You're definitely hitting it on the head because we definitely went through so much training. I remember when I would go through RA training, it was people monitor your social media. And there was actually an RD. Dang, I keep having to sneeze when on the pod. It's second time.
Bless you.
Oh my gosh.
That was a dramatic sneeze.
Dude, I've been having to sneeze so much the last episode. But and he went through training and he posted and it was someone speaking about the Black Lives Matter and there's someone being professional. And everyone in the room, he was asking, he was would you guys want to see your employee, if you're the boss, and you see them posting this? And it was a divide. It wasn't just and this is in college, so this is around the Trump and all that going on, and this is in training. So and it was RD running the training, and James posted it, and half the room was yeah, I wouldn't care. And the other half was I don't think you should be putting your political views out there, right?
Though that's a little different. I don't necessarily think the Black Lives Matter movement itself is political.
But
I think it's necessary.
What he was saying in it was a political take on it. I forget the context on it exactly. I'm not gonna remember his exact phrasing, but what it was since the room was divided, he was like, this was me. Like, I made this post, but it was hidden, like, who made the post. He was like, I made this post. So it was like, you need to walk that fine line. It's a fine line of, making your stance on the movement, but then going to the above.
I think anything for the betterment of people or groups
You're right.
is
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
So, like, Black Lives Matter, like, Stop Asian Hate, like, per becoming an ally for all these various groups. If you're posting something like that, I think any company, employer would get behind that.
Yeah.
If it's doing the opposite, like, if you're becoming part of, like, that hate, then you're problematic.
But what if that person doesn't look at it as hate? What they look like, this is just my beliefs because of my religion?
It doesn't. I think perspective always has to be a factor.
Yeah.
Like, even if they in their heart of hearts they believe that, but like, also in the case of like religious stuff, you're only choosing one side of that faith. Like, you're only choosing the condemnation part. Like, and that's just like, and that's not ideal. It's not what you're supposed to be. Spewing. And that's why it's a double-edged sword, because there are people who are saying like, I'm spiritual, like, this is what I believe. But you're only showing this part, which is what everyone sees. There's like, no, I can't mess with Christians because they're like that. And that's not.
Okay.
It's not the goal.
I guess, but like, all right, when I look at myself, I'm like, yo, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. And like, there's always hot takes on that, right? Like, you're like, how can you be spiritual without having like religion backing?
I have a relationship with God. I'm not necessarily, because when you think of religion, you think of like,
so
the
you wouldn't
rules.
consider yourself religious?
No.
What?
No, because I go to church. I think
Okay.
I think it's fine, because I think of myself as like a new age Christian, because I have like a plethora of beliefs. But I think the main focus is like a relationship versus religion, because religion is like just rules. It's just a bunch of rules you have to follow, which rules can be okay, but there are some rules that are just
extreme, of course, yeah. But like, when you have this relationship with like God, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you see like, like, I will never be able to, maybe later in my life, but I won't be able to like, come up with a scripture the way you may be right now. The Bible, I would get say front and back, like,
that's not
no.
I guess if you see religion,
No, I'm not saying that's religious. That doesn't make you
yeah.
religious. No. But I'm saying like, I find myself being spiritual,
Mm-hmm.
but then like, when I do see certain people who are like mad religious and they're like, being gay is not right, and I'm like, yo, like, that to me in itself is like, we are going against the meaning of like religion and being for all people.
On that topic, I think a lot of Christians can be misinformed.
Okay.
And I think when it comes to those like hot button topics,
Yeah.
you really, really have to be intentional with your education
Okay.
before you even speak on the matter.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people see like, oh, in the Bible it says being gay is wrong. It also says you shouldn't have tattoos.
Yeah.
And you shouldn't have piercings.
Yeah.
And like, so like, what, you can't pick and choose what part of the Bible you want to emphasize and what part you don't. So I really think it's a matter of like societal expectations, because it's a mixture of like society and religion and all these other components that make it seem like this one is bad. Like, no sin outweighs the other.
Yeah, you brought that up. That's
like,
something you said that I really like value. I was like, that's so true. But...
yeah, no sin outweighs the other. So people go around and ask like, do you believe in like gay marriage, or do you think gay people should do this and that? Like, are you going around saying, do you believe lying is wrong? No, no one does that. So like, people just need to stop asking that question and stop emphasizing like gay people are bad, because that's not true, and that's not what should be taught, and that's not what, if you really, really, really know the heart of any faith or religion, that's not the goal.
But then, do you think that being gay cannot get you into heaven?
You're asking if I think if you're gay you can't get into heaven?
Yeah.
I don't believe that. Like, I don't believe that you being gay means you're not getting into heaven.
Okay.
I'm not saying you're gay. Like, it's just like the people like the idea of being gay is a choice. It blows my mind. That statement blows my mind.
Okay, I want to see where.
Like, why would you choose like to have? That's like saying, oh, you chose to be black. Why would you put yourself in a situation or a space where you're gonna get attacked or you're gonna feel less than?
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
It's not a choice. Just like
yeah. I don't think that it's me personally, and we talked about this with Edward again. He came on for Pride Month, and we talked about it. And I was like, "Yo, I think people like it was like that. Do you think people are born gay?"
Yes.
And I said, yeah, like I believe people are born gay because why would you choose like you said, why would I just do this because I want to like go through all this shit? And it's not something I
make
like.
My life hard.
Yeah, why would I do something I don't like just because it sounds like it's something that's extra? But I feel like it's always a hot take of like people like nowadays like laws and things like that like controlling people who live their certain way. And I don't know, like that's where I have my heart stance when it comes to religion. Is like when I do go to churches, and like when I was in Salisbury, I like
your church was questionable.
It was, but at the same time it wasn't. Like I was like, yo, I love like the way he's giving his word. You know what I mean? I love like, you know, like what he's preaching and things of that nature, but it was then he took it to another level. It was like, and I was like, what the hell, man? Like, why would I find a church and find something that I feel at home? There's something that comes out. You know, and I went to another church here in Camden, and I was there. I loved it, and I was like, and I was pretty much raised in that church. You know what I mean? I loved it, but then I got to a certain age where I was like, I felt like they were saying like, you know, if you're going through something, pray about it, pray about it, pray about it. And I was like, prayer doesn't work without hard work as well.
I agree. And I always, every time I have that conversation, they're like, oh, if something, you have to make a hard choice, you have to do this. Like you have anxiety, you have depression, pray on it.
Pray on it. Yeah.
That is fine. But God also calls you to like use what's in your hand. Use the therapists that are in your area. Use the people he puts in your life to help you. Like don't just pray and say nothing to someone. Like you don't like what someone really told me that I really like. You don't have to tell everyone your business, but tell someone. Yeah. And like work with them and work through it. Like prayer, yes, is important, but like you need work. You need like action. You need to make steps to get from point A to point B. Yeah,
I felt like it was like guiding. Maybe I misinterpreted what they were saying, but like I felt like it was like guiding people to just like put it in God's hand and let it be what it is. Yeah. And it's like I can't.
Some people are like that.
Yeah. And you know what? I would never turn a blind eye to people who are like that because their faith is so strong that I actually find value in that faith. Like you take the time to believe in something so strong, and this is what gets you through life. I mean, like legit before this, me and my dad were talking, and we were talking like, you know, religion and how that affects people, and like how it just gives like people like, you know, why do you think even like when I saw a podcast they were talking about like why does religion even exist? Like it was really like the construction to like make people be good people. It was like if you do good deeds you'll go to heaven. So it's like people being good people. But I just felt like there's some times where we take the exact words of what is said and we make it an outlandish way of what someone said. And like we're like, I'm gonna follow this to the T and do exactly as they say.
What qualifies as a good person to you? Like what does that mean?
When I think about a good person, I think about someone who cares about humanity as a whole, right? Someone who cares about like their neighbor. Like they don't look at it like a tribalism mentality of like me against you, but I look at it as like how can I help the other person? Like I don't think of it as like just an action. Like a good person isn't just an action. A good person actually owns up to their mistakes. A good person makes these mistakes and says, you know what, I made a mistake. How can I learn from these mistakes and then teach others? You know how to like not to make that mistake. And I look at like educators. Educators don't know everything, but they're able to educate those and be like, yo, I can help you and I'm giving back to you. And I look at it just like a giving back. Have you ever seen those corny ass commercials when like you pass something kind to another person and it continues and continues and continues? I look at it like that. How do you define like a good person?
I really think it has to be someone's like heart posture. I really think it's not a mixture of, it has to be a mixture of like good intentions.
Genuine, yeah.
And it has to be like not for self gain. Like you are selflessly making these decisions for people. You are selflessly giving. Yeah. And you are not giving things to people. You're not doing things for people just for a full circle moment for it to come back to you.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. You're not you're not doing it and looking to receive something from it. Because that's like when I hate when I see like and you know like I used to go at it with my frat, like when we would do things like giving back to the homeless and like, yo, get a picture, and I was like, no,
it defeats the point a little bit. Just like when you see those videos of people recording giving homeless people stuff, it's so stupid.
I like when I see YouTubers do that, I get it when it's something extreme, like they're giving them a house and like, you know, they're literally changing their life, not giving someone $100. Like for me, like that to me, I don't value that. So like when I was really conflicted with that. Like, and I had these talks with my friend, and I was like, yo guys, I get that we need proof that we did something, but how about we take the pictures at our house when we're making the food and do things like that, not me in the streets giving someone something. Like to me, it's just like now we're like I don't know, we're making like a poster, like it's like, yo, look at me, like I did something great, and I just can't rock with that. That's just not who I am.
At least ask permission too. I
Yeah.
think that's important because some people just like record people.
Yeah. Yeah, that messed my whole track. Whatever. But so like we were going on the path of like, what I was saying with the homeless. Like when I just saw something that was like, don't, you know how we go and like we'll make like PB&Js or we'll have these options. It's like stop going with one option and not feeling like they have the opportunity to do something for themselves. So like and I saw that and I was like, that's so true. Like when we go, we just give them something like, here, take this. Like you don't have anything. But like when me and like my girl and her family, her mom, she'll make like chicken and pork. So when we go and like we'll just set up shop on our own. Like we'll just go to the train station in Camden and just start giving out stuff. And we're like, yo, what do you want, chicken or pork? So you're giving them the opinion of like, yo, like they are still human. They still have like opinions of what they like and what they don't want. It's not just give it to them. But then going off that topic, we had these topics on like religion. And then we had these topics on like gender and gender roles and things of that nature. And I don't look at myself as being machismo. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
Share your opinion on gender roles. I'm just, because I've heard it before.
Yeah, I feel like I forget what the hell I said.
It's a hot take.
I forget what I said. What did I say?
We were talking about like the roles for like men and women in a relationship.
Okay.
And I think I don't know, but you were talking about like when you're in a relationship, the female should be doing specific things, and the male should be doing specific things.
You're not about to make me look like I'm machismo out here.
What does that mean?
No, machismo is like a macho man, like stuff like that. I definitely am not a macho man, but what I do.
Oh, we know that you're like high maintenance.
But what I did say is like, yo, like. I feel like the gender role, like the fight against gender roles, that's what it was. Like the fight against gender roles
Feminism?
has taken, like with the feminism, right? Has taken the value out of certain things of a man. And when I look at it like this, like so in the roles of like what a man and a woman does, I do not condone a woman sitting in the kitchen hand feeding their man and stuff like that. No way, shape, or form. No way, shape. Like like the man is sitting at the table and the woman comes and gives him food. Nope, I don't believe in that. What I do believe in is like, yo, we establish our own rules of how we construct our own house. So
I 100% agree.
Yeah, so like if I come home and I do these certain things, like if I come home first, maybe I can prep the dinner, we cook it together. Or I straighten the house up, or you do your part. It's just an even exchange. But what I do feel like the feminist movement has done is taking it to where, like, I fucking forget exactly what I said, because I know we sat there for like 2 hours discussing this. It's like the feminist movement.
They make males feel like hot garbage sometimes.
Yeah, but I feel like that's what fucking machismo men too. But it's like. The women is like, yo, like you're not about to just do this and it's like, yo, we as men, we don't have this brain going into it like I'm treating you different because you're a woman.
Yeah, I agree.
I can't speak for all men.
I agree. I really think sometimes when I don't like feminists who like when a woman decides to do something for a male or do something for their significant other, they get attacked.
Yeah.
Like that's a choice. Like if I want to cook dinner, that is my personal choice. It does not mean I'm less than. It does not mean I'm doing other, like it doesn't mean I'm like inferior in the relationship. It's a choice I'm making that I want to do, and some people need to be able to do that. And I really think some people, like the extremists, go too far. Yeah. Like your relationship is your own, and if you want to do something that's traditionally women. Yeah. Then do it.
Yeah, I don't think I have this perspective of like, like, all right, like there'll be times where like we're speaking with someone who's like a feminist, right? And you're like, no, like you're like, don't look at me like less than or something like that. And it's like, yo, you're getting to the point of like, here's a prime example. When I worked at Dunkin' Donuts, I was making coffee, right? It was packed. It was a morning. It was a crazy morning. And like this one dude had like, she ordered, and she was like a caramel mocha, like all this extra shit in it, right? And this dude ordered a medium black coffee. So I looked at the screen, I was like, all right, I can get this out. and gave it to him quick, right? And he was before her. So then I came and I got her stuff. Mind you, you could tell that she was a lesbian or whatever she considered herself as because, you know, just from her, I'm just judging from her appearance. I am judging her. But she was like, why'd you give it to him first? It's because he's a man.
Yo.
And I was like, what the fuck? I looked at her and I was like, that wouldn't even cross my fucking mind. Like, I'm going to treat him better than you because he's a man.
And I think right there, that's the problem. I think as humans, we need to give other people the benefit of the doubt more.
Hell yeah.
Like, not everyone is trying to do something or say something to hurt you. And I really, really think if you just, like, just assume people have good intentions
bro.
Until proven otherwise.
Yeah. And that's why, like, my take on the feminists is like, yo, some feminists scare the fuck out of me.
They just assume you have bad intentions.
Yeah, like, they scare because I'm just like, I'm never scared of a strong woman. I love to see strong women. That has always been around me my entire life is strong women, right? But they're my family, my mom, my girl, every single woman that has been in my life is a strong woman, right? My mom. And then when I look at it and I'm like, I feel like there's feminists out there that are just tearing down the man. And it's like, yo, we don't need men to do this. We don't need men to be that. We don't need men to do these certain things. But it's like, if we're in the fucking airport and your baggage is all the way up there, who are you looking to help you? When there's certain things that's like, you know, and I had these things talks with my girl and she was like, I hate these because someone was talking who was like a mad machismo man and he was like, yeah, women don't have as hard job as men, like they don't work these jobs, right? And I was conflicted. I'm just like, I feel like they don't. Like, you see a lot of men with these dangerous jobs in construction and doing these certain things.
Yeah. Okay. One, the cherry picking. That's what's happening. Like, yeah, I get it. Like the cherry picking. Like, 100%. I'm 4'11". If I'm at a grocery store and I can't reach something, I'll be like, yo. Or because you don't really see really tall girls around. I don't really care. I just
yeah, you're right.
When you just need help. But I feel like that's because of history. Like, you see guys, more males doing these super hard jobs because that's how it started.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But, like, I think as, I don't know. I think they're becoming more diverse with more, with other genders, but I do think you're right. Like, I really don't know how to.
I fucking wish I remember what my hot take was on feminism because it was definitely a hot take, but it was like to the point of like I just feel like it's.
Did you say they're like ruining relationships?
I feel like I mean that's maybe I don't remember, but like I feel like it is because it's like it creates this woman, right? Who, and I'm not talking about all women. I'm not talking about everyone, but like I feel like it creates this woman, right? Yeah. Who is so strong in her ways and stuck in her ways that when even just another counterpart, let's just say it's another, even if you date another female or male, it doesn't matter. But you can't even be in a relationship with someone else because now you're such at the point where like I'm the leader. It makes it to the point of like I'm ruling this relationship. I'm in charge, and anything you say or do, I'm against it because I'm in charge.
Yeah, like. There shouldn't be a struggle for who's in charge in a relationship.
Exactly.
Like, I don't think if it's a healthy relationship, I don't think there should be a leader and like a follower.
No.
If your relationship is truly healthy, it should be like an equal partnership, like 100% throughout.
I feel like if you're in a relationship and you're fighting for like who's running this week and who's ruling this time and this
then you need to reevaluate that relationship because it's definitely not healthy.
Not even the relationship. Evaluate you. Like you shouldn't be in a relationship looking like, oh, let's see, how could I get her to do this or manipulate and stuff like that, like to get my way. If it's not right, then be out, bro. Like you need to look at yourself as well.
Exactly. Two halves don't make a whole. You need two whole people to have a functioning relationship.
Exactly, bro.
And if you are insecure and like you are subconsciously taking it on the other person, then there has to be.
But then I also look at like myself as a man, right? Like I'm like, all right, where do I have these machismo values that like lay within, right? Like that I'm like, okay, what do I do as a man? And I'm like, all right, my girl is to take care of me, and I'm not to reciprocate these in some manners, right? Like for me and Kat, she'll cook, right? Like but it's not like to the point where I'm just like, yo, you cook, I don't cook. It's I like your food
really know
more.
How to cook.
I cook spaghetti and
you know, like
fucking
3 recipes, right?
turkey burgers and stuff like that.
And like the little quesadilla thing.
Yeah, the quesadilla shit. I haven't made those in a while. But like, you know what I mean? And I was just looking at her and I'm like, yo, I like the way you cook. Like, I'll help you cook, but I like your cooking. But then I'm like, I would be upstairs while she's downstairs cooking. And it's like, call me when the food's ready. And it's like, yo, that's mad machismo. Let me know when my food is ready that you cook for me and not me sitting there helping you. You know what I mean?
It depends because I personally don't like anyone in the kitchen if I'm cooking.
Yeah, you're right. It depends. Yeah, you're right. Because my girl hates it if I'm not in the kitchen while she's cooking.
Okay, that's fair. So if that's an expectation you set for your relationship, that's fine. But I wouldn't necessarily look at it as something super masculine unless you're just like, I'm just gonna, it's her job to cook.
Yeah. But then I do find that, like, you know, this fight for, like, women, right? For women in the working world. And, you know, when I look at higher education, I feel like, at least just from what I'm looking at, in both experiences where I've been in, I feel like I've seen women in a lot of those roles in higher ed.
Yeah, because we're superior. I'm kidding. Because like most, if you look at even the population of colleges, it's usually more females than male. But I only think because that's like, if you there are genuine traits that males and females have.
Yeah.
That are different.
Yeah.
So guys are. They don't like it's just not stereotypical, but like guys don't have the same amount of patience as most females do.
Yeah.
And being in those positions, you need a lot of patience.
Yeah.
You need a lot of strategy to like move and maneuver throughout.
Yeah. I agree, but I feel like there's still like some discrepancies within that. But I look at higher ed, you know, and I see like when people complain about, like, you know, women in these roles, and I'm like, yo, that's all I have experience in higher education in my field.
Yeah.
But then I do still see like, yo, there's a lacking. There's still like a, you know, a lot of directors. Let's look at directors and presidents of universities.
Yeah,
like
presidents.
We're missing those leaderships, right? In those roles.
Just like white males, old white men like presidents of universities.
Yeah, and I was like, yo, like, I'm conflicted with, like, when I see, like, you know, a woman fight for wanting to be in those positions, and I'm like, yo, like, in my field, I don't see that. Like, I see women in those roles.
I don't want those positions.
You know,
personally, like, and especially in higher education, because the further you get up the ladder, like, the farther away from students you get.
Yeah.
And it's just all political. Like, I have no.
You don't want to be in those roles?
I have no, like, the highest I don't think I ever want to be a president, but like dean of students is probably the highest I'm willing to go. Because it just gets political after that, and I feel like it's not for me.
My goal is to be a university president, and like that's something like, you remember we were in Heather's class, and like what's her name came in, the president of UMES.
She was great.
She was amazing, but she like legit. I was like, who in here has ever said, like, you know, I'm going to school because I want to become a university president? Like, raise your hand. She was like, probably no one, and I was like,
Malik, that's the first thing. That's probably one of the first things you've ever said. Like, before I knew you, you're like, this is my goal. And
yeah.
Like, okay.
Yeah, like that's because I look at that, like, because of I would say probably because of my Rowan, my university president. He was so for the students, and he made his way for the students. Like, he made sure he gave back, and he kept in touch with the students. He didn't disappear from the students. Like, he was always on the ground, and he was working really hard. And I was like, yo, this is the path I can take to actually make a difference for students. I can make a difference for my students. When you're at the director position and dean of students, you know, you have a little bit of clout. You can a little bit, you know, get some pool, get some money here. But as a university president, you don't have much money you can give back to those students.
So many other factors factor in. Like, in your way, it sounds easy, but then you have to think about, like, the reputation, the image. You can't do anything without someone, like, saying you did this.
Yeah. No, that's
You're gonna end up in one of our professors' slideshows if you do something messed up.
What are you talking about? And within that, what's that called? Crisis management. How did he handle this crisis? And he's gonna be like, Malik handled this crisis.
Yeah, you just the further you get in, like, a leadership position, you literally just become a case study. People just use you to, like, critique everything.
Okay, so then, you know, in higher education, you know, it's so fun. Like, everyone that has been on this has been, like, higher ed or went to college. And I spoke about this in, like, one of the past episodes. I was like, yo, I don't want this podcast to make people believe that you have to be successful by going to college.
Oh, no. College is a scam.
Yeah, exactly,
I have 2 degrees. And I'm just like, bro, one, I don't need a degree. We don't need a degree. It's literally a piece of paper. We would not need a degree to do what we do.
Yeah.
Or to, like, get to where we want. But, like, people want to see it as, like, a ticket to ride. Like, essentially. That's literally what it is. They want to see that you did it, and you can do it, and you just do whatever you're capable of. Like, you use your abilities and your skills that you acquired through life more than you do anything we've learned.
In the classroom.
Yep.
But, like I was saying, like, I believe that, like, a lot of it, what we learned was outside the classroom.
100%.
Like, all of it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, those issues that we had to learn how to maneuver through. Like, okay, how do I handle this and that? But I believe that it was a time, and when I look at higher ed, I'm like, did I feel welcome? Did you always feel like, all right, I'm welcome in these spaces?
Definitely not.
Yeah.
And like, I'm a black female. Like, there's
Yeah.
going to be very few occasions where it's going to be like, ooh, yay, 100% accepting.
Yeah.
Several people still couldn't spell my name.
I can't spell your name.
By the time I left. Yeah, I know. But at least you're honest about it. Like, you straight up told me one time, like, I don't know how to spell your name.
Yeah.
And that was that. But some people really try and just like, whatever.
Yeah, I feel like when we went to grad school, you know, I had this perception of school of like, I felt so comfortable at Rowan. I was like, this is probably what it's like. Like, and I would say I wasn't in a utopia, but I was almost there in the utopia of like, you know, I still went through my hardships, but I knew everyone. I knew the way of the land and stuff like that.
Being black is like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
Like, it's 100%. Because, like, I was thinking about this the other day. Like, a lot of times when you're growing up, you, like, hate. Like, you not hate, but, like, there's a lot of so much negativity when it comes to being black. But then when you are in these spaces, when you're like with other black people and with each other, it's just like the best time ever.
Yeah, it is.
Like, there's nothing like, I told my friend the other day who's white, I'm saying, you really need to like experience a time with black people like once a month. Yeah. Like just a group of black people, because it's a whole different experience. Like, everyone loves each other. Yeah. It's like this community driven situation. It's great.
Because, you know, while we all go for traumas, like we talk about our traumas of being black.
We share mutual traumas.
We shared mutual traumas, and it was amazing to see that, like, you know, when we talk about like Rowan, we always talk about it's a black and a white Rowan, and Rowan is majority white. But it was like we were in a utopia of like, yo, we all loved each other. Like, we all were like, most of the people were like, we were in our own bubble. So when I came to Salisbury, I was like, holy shit, bro. Like, I'm away from life that I even know, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's a totally different thing. And I feel like you have to go through that. You have to experience those things, because, and this is one of the things, like, in a job interview, they always ask me, you guys can take this. This is good, something good to use. When they talk about, like, you know, diversity. And they always talk about diversity, and we always talk about, like, you know, white people need to become more diverse in their experiences. But I say, in the same token, I was like, we need to, as minorities, we need to become 100% more diverse in what we experience, what we go through. Because that can open our eyes to so much shit that's out there. So much.
It also helps you develop an appreciation for, like, our culture.
Yeah.
And, like, it really does. Like, not being around it so much, it helps you develop an appreciation, and it helps you want to inform other people about the positive traits of like where you come from.
Yeah, exactly. And I was looking at it like, okay, I'm in Salisbury. I'm away from a fucking city that I can go to, like, get, if I ever need that, like, all right, I need some, like, I need to get out and go. There was DC, but I can tell you I never went to DC when I was in Maryland. The entire time I was there.
It's a long drive.
Yeah, I'd rather go back home because it's 2.5 hours to get there. But I was just like, yo, what can I gain from this time here? Like, what can I actually take away with me that's gonna have a lifelong, like, impression on me? And I can't say it was a negative. It was a negative experience, because I took the time, like, after we left, I was like, yo, let me think on, like, what I went through, and, like, it's a negative positive. That's how I look at it.
It was rough. I'm not gonna lie, and I thrive in different situations, but like, that first year could have been thrown away. Like, year one, I could have threw it away and it would have been fine. I would have went about my life without it. The second year was a lot better, especially, I don't know. Overall, if I reevaluate it and I would choose a different grad school.
You would? Yeah. I feel like me and some other RDs, we talked about this, and they were like, I wouldn't do it any other way. And I feel the same way. I think I wouldn't have done it any other way. I would have wished it was a little bit easier on me, but I wouldn't have done it any other way, man.
It wasn't what part of it? Like, I think my bigger I wasn't really challenged in, like, the academic classes.
Oh shit. You don't want to go off on that with me.
I don't the work part I thought was I don't know. Like, I think it could have been better.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I think I grew a lot. And so I withdraw my answer. That is incorrect. I think I have grown more in the last year than my other 4 years of college. Yeah.
Those 2 years feel like you put 8 years into 2, right?
Exactly. Like, because it pushes you to a point where you have to be flexible, you have to be adaptable, you have to change.
Pivot, man. Pivot. That's the word of the streets, bro.
And it also shows you the different kind of people that are going to exist in the world. Because
Yeah.
you saw the really nice people, the genuine people, you saw the really shady, manipulative people. Like, it.
I felt like Salisbury was probably like there. It was a lot of nice people. It was
Yeah.
like a lot of nice people.
Mm-hmm.
But then when you go down to the student population, I couldn't do that, bro. Like those students to me were just. It was. I don't think I had positive interactions with my students in Chester, but I think I dealt with a lot of like, rough interactions with students that just didn't. It's a different generation, you know what I mean? But
Yeah, the entitlement of some of the students was out of.
I was like, is this at
this world.
every? Is just at Salisbury or is this at every school? But
Yo,
everyone was saying
Every place I interviewed, they asked me to describe like Salisbury, my experience there, and I always say like there is no place on this earth like the Eastern Shore.
this. Yeah.
That take it how you want it, but there is
Yeah.
no location in existence like that place.
It's damn near Florida up here. But I was thinking, like how can I take what can I take away from this that'll actually have a long lasting impact on me? And I truly found value in like the shit I went through. Like
Yeah.
I can honestly say
own
that I
colleagues.
had to work harder than any fucking one else.
I
And it's
agree.
not because of like, extra shit came on to me. It was like, yo, shit wasn't given to me. Shit wasn't never
I
handed to
agree.
me.
I think of every single one of us, you got the short end of like all the sticks.
All the sticks. And like in the moments, it was funny because in the second year when we were talking to one of ADs and they were like, how you feeling, Malik? I was like, I'm ready. Like I'm ready to flourish somewhere else. Like spread my wings a little more. And she was talking to me and we were like, luckily you were there. And I was like, I'm not a complainer. And she was like, you're not a complainer. And I was like, you guys are my my space to where I share these thoughts with,
Yeah.
right? But like when I go into the field, you'll never see me complain about something I have to do. I'll get it
Exactly.
done. But like, I was like, to you guys, oh hell yeah, I'm a fucking complain.
Yeah, that's what I don't like. I think it's important to have those personal relationships with the professional ones.
Yeah.
And you need a place like at wherever you work to
Yeah.
feel like safe and comfortable to express your concerns.
It's
'Cause
important that you
healthy.
make sure
It's
you find the
healthy.
right person. You have to find the right person for that because you
Yeah.
don't want someone that you think you can confide in, but is a whistleblower and going back to the
Yeah.
leads. So find that right person. Allow them first. This is what I do. I allow them first to bitch at me. And I'm
Yeah.
like, all right, I had something on you,
Nah.
so I know you're not going to go and say something on me. That's how I go about it.
Don't be the whistleblower. I hate
Don't.
it. Like give people enough trust in you to like
Yeah.
have them be able
Yeah.
to like vent. Like
And I feel like it pushed me to be able to grow in any space. Like because I was so comfortable at Rowan and like I learned that like, if I walked into any office, I was comfortable like at Salisbury. I was able to walk in any space. I'm like, hey, how you doing? My name is Malik Howard, da da da. Like it helped me develop that comfortability with like if I was in a role with like when the Rowan president would walk into a room and I was with him and we were in a meeting, I would get a little bit tense. Like I was a little tenser. At Salisbury, I was like, I could walk into a room. It could be the dean of students. It could be anyone. It could be Wallace or anything. And I was comfortable. Like I was like, I know I'm here to do a job, but I'm also here to like spread my wings and give my opinions on things, no matter
Yeah.
what my role is.
I agree, and I think that's the best. That's the best way to be. Like you should be
Yeah.
100% yourself,
Yeah.
no matter where you go.
Yeah.
Because like if you know you have like the skills to do something, don't be like completely ratchet or
Yeah.
disrespectful,
Exactly.
but like
Exactly.
be who you are.
Yeah, I think that's what helped me build such a. I wouldn't say I had the closest relationship, but I got closer with that staff and and that's some advice I would give out. Those pro staff members, those leaders who are the directors like that, they're directors, but lean on them. Take the
Yeah.
time to actually like feel comfortable talking to them. You don't want to have to knock on the door and be like, hey, I don't want to bother you. I'm sorry. Like, no, I gotta be like, yo, what's going on? Like, I have a question for you. Are you like? I have to be comfortable with that. I have to get to that
Yeah.
point with you. And I felt like I had that with everyone in that office. Like, I felt comfortable doing that, and they did that too. They were really welcoming in those perspectives. And it started right away. And I think that was one of the probably like things I could take away with like, okay, an atmosphere that I'm willing to work in and learn from. It was those experiences. I learned of like, how do I run a staff? Because that first year staff to my half a second year is totally different. And it was like, yo, I had to learn my style of leadership. We could
Yeah.
all say, yo, I'm this type of leader, da da da.
Nope,
And,
I reevaluate. I scrapped my initial leadership style after my first year. I
and we're
scrapped it completely.
even taking game from other RDs. Like we would sit there and talk. And I'm like, Khadijah's a certain way. And I'm like, yo, Khadijah, you gotta like stop, bro. Like,
yeah, I
calm the
was
fuck
known
down.
as like just the bitch.
Yeah.
I was totally, and I owned it after a while.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll be the bitch. I
Yeah.
don't care.
And there, but we went off each other. Like even when I was making mistakes,
Yeah.
you're like, Malik, you have to do it this way. I'm like, all right, I got
Like
you,
when
bro.
you were about to go off on some people at like lunch, I always said like calm down, take a step back, because it's not worth it. Like it's not worth it. Sometimes.
There were certain times. It's always important to have that one relationship with that person. And if you would have told me in the first year to the second year if we would have got that close, it was crazy how close we got in that second year. Because honestly, I don't think I would have been able to get through fucking grad school if I didn't have the assist of you and like pushing me in the classroom and outside the classroom. Because in the classroom, again, I say I had to work harder than anyone, like in both perspectives.
You said weekly how you wanted to quit. Like, that whole like last 3 months, you're like, I'm about to leave. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah. And it was just, I was just fed up. I think I was fed up with everything. Like I was just in a bad space. And I think that's my biggest thing is like, yo, you don't want to work somewhere where like your mentality is fucking triggered every day.
100%.
Like every day you have to walk to a space you're like, oh my gosh, bro, I don't want to wake up and get out of bed right now because I don't want to deal with this shit. And I got to that point, and that's like, and I'm not that person. Like I'm not that person who like I love to wake up and go do what I love to do. Like if I can do what I love to do, bro, I'm fucking up at 6 in the morning. I'm ready to go and let's get after it. And that's how I am. Like when I'm with the RAs, I love getting able to sit there and just be with the RAs. If I could do that for 24/7, that would be I could deal with RA shit all day fucking long. But when it comes to the residents and then politics and then all this other bullshit, take that how you wish. I can't do that, bro.
I agree. I think it was a lot, and I really think that's what, because I was ready to quit after my first year, and but I really think you need to build those relationships to help keep you in a place. If you don't have them, you're screwed.
I talked about it with Damien when he was on. Go check that episode out as well, and we talked about like, yo, that first year, that transition for me was like, yo, I'm gonna be done. And I was talking about the instance where like I walked to Fox's class and like that day I was like, I want to drop out. Like not even quit fucking being an RD. I was like, I want to drop out of college.
Research?
Yeah, intro research. And I was walking into his class, right? And I told the story as well. And when I walked in, it was just me and I forget her name that went out to lunch with us and Wagner.
Jesse.
And Jesse was in the class. It was me and Jesse. And I'm walking, I'm like, I can't fucking do this, bro. I can't do this shit. Like, I was like, I'm over this, bro. I'm so done. And I walk into class, and then he canceled class like 2 weeks in a row. So it was like no in person for 2 weeks. I was just like, fuck, bro. Look at me. Like, I was ready to quit. And like, you know what I mean? And like, it gave me a break. But I met that wall. I met that wall of my first paper getting turned in, and I got a D on that first paper. And I was the first ever D I've gotten in like college, period. So I was like, holy shit. Like, this is the real deal. And I feel like I grew so much within that time, but it was those around me.
But that was like your hardest class. Like from when I started talking to you about like classes and stuff like that, because I think that was like the worst period for you.
Oh my god.
Because I think you thrived very well. Even if you didn't see it, you did better in every other class. So all our professors loved you. Yeah. You had the discussion down pack. It was just the writing. Your whole thing was just the writing.
I still got to be at the end of this shit.
Get over it. You got to let it go.
I don't know. I might have to hit her up.
I'm going to. She needs to fill out one of these recommendations for me.
Oh, that's dope. That's dope. I'm trying to think. Was there any takeaways? I think there was a lot of, like, when I look back, I don't want to sit here and be like a negative Nancy. There was, of course, everyone could talk about, like, you know, the negative shit that went down and shit like that. Yeah. But I just am grateful for the opportunity of what I've learned, because I truly felt like when I was like questioning, like, yo, do I have the professional development from this place? Oh, fuck yeah, I got that shit within the last year.
I have a lot of critiques. I think I would have more critiques than you, because I genuinely want to go into res life like long term, and I do have
Hell
critiques.
No, you're a special person, bro.
I do have critiques, but I think I would change the people.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel what you're saying, but I don't know. I could take away and just have a positive spin on everything.
I agree. I think every experience in life in general has a benefit.
Yeah.
And I think it was we were there at the time we needed to be there.
Yeah.
And we grew and we learned.
And of course, COVID came. I feel like that, like shit like that, only happens to me.
COVID screwed your whole life over.
Yeah, COVID can only happen to me, bro.
You more than anyone.
But then at the same time, I was like, I can't sit here and be negative, because my family's well, everyone's well. Like, we still have a job compared to a lot of people who lost their jobs. So you know, but it was just a way certain people went about addressing us, and it was pretty like again, genuine. We talk about things being genuine, right? And that's what I feel like a good person is. If you're genuine and you're being someone who's true to themselves and treating people like such, and not holding like there's a picking ladder. I feel like even if I am the president of university, I am not above any fucking person, and that's how I treat myself. I'm even as an RD, as an RD, and maybe that was my downfall the first year. Is like, yo, I'm just a heightened RA. In my eye, that's all I am to you guys, and like I'm just your leader. I'm just here to help you guys lead, and that's it. And I don't look at myself as this person, but I'm someone you guys can rely on, and that's how I want to take it when I go into these roles, and I learned to carry that with myself as well.
That's when I became an RA, and just before I decided to go into res life, my supervisor, who's like one of my closest friends now, she said, I would never ask you to do anything I haven't done or I'm not willing to do myself.
Exactly, bro.
And I think that's just the mentality I took with me throughout my career path, because that's what kind of leader people want to lead.
Yeah, and I think I learned so much from my RDs because of that too. Like I had an RD who taught me all of them have taught me so much. Like like one of my RDs taught me like once you get something, they ask you to do something, just do it and don't push it back, because that will build shit up. Took that with me, like, yo, I gotta get done. If I get it, I'm like the first one to finish it and try to hurry up and get it done.
You did it. That was you with all class work.
Yeah, it was like I just gotta get it done so it doesn't pile up.
That life. I tried so hard.
Yeah, but you learn your styles, and then it was like, all right, as an RD, how can I do that? As an RD, I was like, yo, I'm not going to make you guys do something last minute. If it's last minute, when I was an RA, nothing would piss us off more than when like Central would give the RD something to give to the RA. So I was like, if this is this something I can do, and even though it puts more on my plate, it's like, yo, they didn't sign up for that. I signed up for this. They didn't sign up for that. So it's like, I'll go and do it my fucking self rather than them making do something. So I always kept that within. Like, yo, if something is like crazy and I need you guys' help, I'll ask for it. But if it's last minute shit, I'll either say like, yo, they're gonna do it. It's gonna be coming later than what you guys expect. But I'm gonna try to get it done as soon as possible, because I'm not gonna do that to my RAs. Like, they have a full-time schedule as well. But it's just learning, right? It's just learning your own leadership styles and how you want to take it. Damn, man.
This took a pivot.
Look at this. What did she put there? This book. It says The Female Persuasion. You see, she snuck some female hierarchy fucking books into his bookcase.
Cat?
Yeah.
I think going off of that, I really think it's important for gender roles. There's a whole idea. There are certain traits that women are designed to do, and there are certain traits that men are.
Wait, so you're saying you believe in gender roles?
To an extent,
okay.
To an extent, I'm not, and this has nothing to do with me being religious.
Okay.
To an extent, like I think, like, even if you study female, like in class, like, women are more designed to show care. Like, they are pushed by care and like compassion. And that's why most women are like natural like caretakers when it comes to children. Yeah. Like, we're really motivated by care and concern.
Yeah.
Like, and males are more like action based. Like, they're not like, I don't want to say spontaneous, but they're more like they're already in go mode.
Yeah.
They don't always necessarily think things through. And like, I think women and males like are supposed to complement each other.
Yeah.
Just like other women complement each other and other males complement each other. Like, I think they're supposed to be designed to complement each other. Yeah.
But I don't think. Okay, so then
I'm not saying there are certain jobs men should be doing. That's not what I'm saying.
No.
I think everyone can do anything, but like.
But okay, so then on that point, like within gender roles, you know how women like they'll, like you said, like they'll put more time into thinking and all those things. Okay, so then when a man says, women live off of emotions, they breed and live off of emotions, and I feel like at times, like, I agree with that.
Me personally, and I am all about emotions all the time. Like, I don't think emotions are a bad thing, and I think a lot of times people see emotions as a bad thing.
I feel like it is, though. To live off of emotions.
What?
To live off of emotions.
Why?
Because that okay. So then, when you're living off of emotions, like you're not in those instances. You're truly not taking the time to process things. You're reacting first, and you're going. And those are moments when you were RD, and I'll be like, Khadijah, chill out.
Yeah,
like, you're going off of like you're at a high tilt right now.
Who I am, I will respond first, and then I'll think about the
consequences. Exactly, but
that is not always.
That's awfully emotion.
Yeah, I know, and
I think at times it could be really bad to live off of emotion.
I think sometimes it can be bad to strategize everything. I think there are certain instances that cause for an immediate reaction. I truly do.
I don't agree.
Not every situation needs you to think about things for hours.
No. I'm not saying that. But I'm saying take it 3 more times of your personal thought. Because your first thought always isn't the right thought to give out.
I think sometimes it is.
You see, that's the problem. You see, your emotions take over.
I think sometimes it is. I think sometimes, especially if it's dealing with people, emotions are okay.
Whoa, no, I completely disagree.
Okay, explain.
Because in those moments, okay, if I'm dealing with someone, right, and they're going off and they're having this own tangent, right, how do I deal with handling the situation? I can go off emotions and then we just escalate the situation.
No, here's the thing. You can't because you get angry very easily. Like, when it comes to, like, those, like, with students and stuff and people, like, you get angry.
Uh-huh.
So I get why you're saying that,
Oh,
but
okay.
it's not everyone.
I mean, yeah, it depends on what emotion you jump with first, I guess. Is what
yeah, you get
say.
super frustrated if things don't make sense.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah, you're right. Because there's just moments where I'm like, if I go off my first thought, I would have knocked this kid the fuck out. So let's go off of the fourth thought that I had of like, okay, how can I help this student and go about this a certain way? Because I want to my first thought is to knock this kid the fuck out.
So that makes sense for you. Like, yeah. I don't have that unless it's something. I do have those instances where like I'm just like I'm gonna punch you in the face, but it's usually with like upper leadership, never with like lower people.
Yeah, I agree. I get that. Has there been anything that's on your mind currently?
About like the state of the world or like
anything that's been in your circle that's been affecting you, the world?
I just think people need to do better.
In general?
Yeah, we just as a whole need to do better.
That's so general.
Like we just need to do better. I don't that is like my main point. Do
your
better.
take right now, do better.
Do better. Like at any point in life, wherever you are, do better.
I think
especially with people. Like I think with all the main stuff that's going on, like just take the time to educate yourself on like all the issues going on in the world.
Yeah.
And be an active part of it. Genuinely, if you really care about people, if you really want to be a good person, if you really care about humanity, learn about the different groups of people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think right now, I think partly what you're saying is like, for me, like when I look at that take, is like, yo, do your job. Mm-hmm. And I look at it as like that. It's like, yo, if you're in these positions and you're in this job and you're doing it, even if you fucking hate it, you still do your job to the best of your ability. Yep. You don't half-ass what you're doing because what you do can have repercussions on someone else you're working with, or even more, have repercussions on a total stranger that you have no idea who they are. And I feel like nowadays people just aren't doing their part and aren't doing their job, and it's affecting so many more people. It's like there's so much BS going on that's just like, yo, focus on what you're doing, get the task done. I don't know. Like I've asked this question for the last guest of like what you're thinking. I think right now more for me is not like the worldview, but personally, I think a lot of it is like, you know, me, my relationship, these next steps, and like what's going on in our relationship, and what do we see as the future, and what's going to happen like down the line in these next couple of years.
My personal like thought right now is like debt. 100%. On my car right here, I was literally mapping out my debt in my head and my game plan to pay it off. That is my personal thing.
Yeah.
It's very off topic, but that is my personal thing.
But that's a good topic because we haven't talked about loans on this podcast at
100%. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Like,
so first thing I would say is don't let a refund check think that it's better to take out these loans. If you don't need a big refund check, don't do it. Do not do something to yourself that's like put you in
no, take as little as you possibly need.
Exactly. If you think, okay, I just need to survive with an extra $1,000, that's fine a year if you do that. But taking out, you know, $10,000 extra so you can have pocket money is not smart at all. Do not do that. But I think in your instance, when I think about paying my loans back, at first, you know, when we talked, I was like, yo, I'm paying it off in the first year. Yeah. I'm looking to do that.
Is that still your plan?
Yeah, I'm still looking to knock a majority of it out in the first year. Okay. But again, a lot of it is changing.
Cereal and air.
Nah. Yo, we survived off of $9,000 a year in grad school, and I was pretty okay with that. Yeah. But when I look at it, and I'm like, yo, well, look at these loans. Like, the perspective I can give you is, nah, fuck all that. I don't know. You and Kat are on the same mindset, bro. Um, for when it comes to paying your loans, right? Like how I was looking at it is like, yo, you're trying to establish a future, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're like, yo, I need to start stacking up. If down the line, you don't have kids, you don't have a significant other right now, you're free to do as you please right now with your money.
Mm-hmm.
So why give a majority of your money to someone who's gonna wait 20 years to get it back? So that's the mindset I do have as well. It's like, fuck these people. Why do I have to pay them? Why should I even give them their money back right away? Like, fuck them. Like, they can get it slowly but surely. But with
I don't have that mindset.
yeah, exactly. Me either. But like, it was paying the interest and all that
Yeah.
shit. It's like, why do that? But it's like, I'll have more money down the line. But like, do I want to give away 20,000 out the gate because I want to pay them off, or can I use that 20,000 instead, save that up to buy a house?
Well, there are a lot of places, especially if you work in a school or like depending on what they're
Yeah.
where they fall under. Like as long as you pay for like 10 years, then you're like debt free.
Yeah. I think I won't take 10 years.
That's not the approach I want to take. Because
Yeah.
I'm just like, I don't want debt for 10 years.
Yeah.
I just can't get my mind behind being in debt for that long.
But to be honest, that's not long. We think about
Yeah,
it.
I know, but I just
We were in college
don't.
for 6 years.
Because imagine like once you get married and like that's usually the goal for a lot of people.
Yeah.
Your debt is combined.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's fair to another person to walk in a relationship and say, "Hey, I have $50,000 in debt. We're gonna pay it off together."
So me and Kat then are bad then? Is that what you're saying? I'm setting
If-
Kat
if-
up for
if-
failure? Is that what you're saying?
Does Kat not have any debt?
No, she has 0.
Oh my, good for her. Wow. Yes, you're
So I'm
setting her up for failure.
Hey man, we have to invest differently.
No. If that's what works for you, I just don't
Nah, I
want
see
to do
what you're
that.
saying. Yeah,
like,
no,
but
you're right.
you and Kat also have been together since like the dawn of time. So like, you just sort of you like figured that out.
We actually we came into debt together as we were together, I would say then.
Exactly. It's versus like when you're like.
When you meet someone new after they've been out of college for
And
5 years.
especially like okay, in the Christian community, like people like marry each other so quickly. Like
Yeah.
it blows my mind
Yeah.
how like in 6 months you know you want to marry someone.
Well, you know what that is.
Because they want to have sex. I'm
Yeah.
aware.
Yeah.
Like, I've gotten to so many arguments about
Yeah.
the expedited marriage process
Oh,
just
yeah.
to have sex.
Yeah.
But like, you have so much debt. Like you don't know what you're signing up for, and
Yeah.
that's a legal agreement and that you are signing up for life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people know what they're getting themselves into and they walk into it and they're like, oh, I have all this debt just so you know before I sign this paper.
Just so you know,
Yeah.
I feel like before a wedding even occurs, like I want like a spreadsheet of
This man, whoever you
of
end up.
the accumulated debt, because like you're agreeing, you have to make sure you have to be fully aware of what you're walking into.
100%. And also within like their lifestyle, like the way their lifestyle is
Mhm.
of spending money and their relationship with money in comparison to yours. Because there's still issues me and Kat go through, like to this day, of like we live different lives of how we value money, how we spend money in comparison to one another.
Yeah,
So
that's why you need to stop buying sneakers for like a year.
I don't care, bro. It is what it is. Is there anything you want to hit on that I may have missed?
Amount of money that you imagine how much money you would save,
I know how much my sneakers cost altogether. I have it portfolioed out.
like in a year. Give me a ballpoint.
No, I'm not saying that number out loud. So someone could come up in here and rob me. I'm not gonna have someone come up in here and rob me, or even say that number out loud so my girl cannot talk to me for a week because she's mad of how much money I've actually spent.
Oh, she probably knows.
Nah, she knows it's a lot of money. She don't know how much. That's all that matters. Is there anything you want to touch on that I may have missed? I feel we had good conversation of gender roles and religion as a whole.
I think Christians need to educate themselves on all issues like race, social justice, LGBTQIAP+,
Yeah.
and do better.
I think new school is definitely coming in, and I feel like a lot of new way generations are
Yeah.
coming into religion differently, though.
You really have to deconstruct your religious beliefs before you can like really
Yeah.
embody them.
Yeah, for sure. Is there any... Okay, I like to ask my guests before you leave, as like this is like a passion project of mine, and
Passion
no matter
project.
what, this is gonna be documented forever, and it will be up there for whoever to see. Is there any like speaking to fruition, some things that you're looking to achieve within your life, and like some life goals that you want to just put out into that space?
Life goals. I don't know, but like in my My life goal, I was like, I'm gonna be completely debt free in like 5 years. That is my
Oh,
life goal.
besides money, Khadijah.
Besides money, I don't know. I want to open up a dog rescue.
The dog rescue. That's dope.
Yeah.
That's so dope. That's
Yeah.
dope. Okay, so we'll put that into existence. So
In
let's see what I got.
existence, give me like 10 years.
That's so dope.
Maybe I'll be a dean of students in 5.
Jesus, that's dope.
I'm gonna run something in like 2 years.
That's dope.
That's my
dope.
goal.
Let's put that out there. All right, yo. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate it. This episode was dope for me. It was very eye opening, and we look at like In Those We Trust, and like I'm like, yo, people are like, yo, what is it about? Where does it go? And it's like, yo, I don't fucking know.
It's a dope idea.
It started off as, being able to just trust people's opinions, and I feel like it's kept that. But it's taken its own path, and like the trust and valuing people's experiences. And I just want to let it go. I don't want to overthink things and make it the show and condense it on one little topic, and then we lose track of like all these conversations that we could have had. So thank you guys for supporting. Again, go check out your merch. Follow Khadijah on the Instagram. You will love to see her stories, and they will keep you mad and intrigued. Her Instagram will be below as well. Thank you guys so much. Have a good week and enjoy your time. Thank you.